If you still believe half the crap people say about motorcycles, you shouldn't be on one. Period. From myths that waste your money to lies that could actually get you killed, we're about to expose the 30 dumbest things riders keep repeating and destroy them one by one. This isn't opinion. This isn't barstool wisdom. This is the truth riders need to hear. By the end, you'll not only be smarter and safer, you'll never look at those tired old myths the same way again. Number 30. Older bikes are always less safe. Some riders still swear that an older motorcycle is automatically a hazard. That's just wrong. A bike's year doesn't decide safety. The rider and the maintenance do. Yes, brand new machines roll off the line with cornering ABS, traction control, and even emergency call systems. But a well-kept older bike, fitted with quality tires and proper brakes, can ride just as confidently. Add smart upgrades and good habits, and the old versus new gap nearly disappears. The truth? Most crashes come down to choices: speeding, poor training, or skipping gear, not the model year stamped on the frame. A disciplined rider on a 2-decade-old machine is safer than a reckless rookie on a showroom cruiser. And here's the bonus. A clean used bike often costs far less while delivering the same freedom on the road. Old doesn't mean unsafe. Ignorance does. But while the debate over old motorcycles is mostly about age, some myths hide in plain sight, like the idea that a helmet's color decides your comfort. Let's look at one that keeps coming up. Number 29. Black helmets overheat too much. Some riders swear that a black helmet will cook your brain the moment the sun comes out. Sounds convincing, but it is mostly nonsense. Yes, darker shells soak up more heat on the surface. Touch one sitting in direct sunlight and you will feel the difference. But inside, where your head actually sits, the story changes. The EPS foam liner acts as insulation, blocking most of that outside heat. Add in proper airflow, helmet vents, and the constant breeze of riding, and the color becomes nearly irrelevant. Independent testing and even scientific studies back it up. The internal temperature difference between a black helmet and a white one is so minor that most riders never notice. What really matters is ventilation, fit, and build quality, not paint. So go black, go white, go neon. Just choose smart. And speaking of smart choices, too many riders still ditch another critical piece of gear once the weather turns hot: gloves. Number 28. Gloves aren't necessary in summer. Some riders peel off their gloves the moment the temperature rises, thinking bare hands mean more comfort. That choice is reckless. Your hands are the first thing to hit the ground in a fall, and without protection, skin and bone have no chance. Modern summer gloves are built to erase the old excuse. Perforated leather, mesh panels, and vented synthetics keep airflow moving, while carbon knuckles and reinforced palms take the hit when things go wrong. Brands like Denise and Alpenstars prove you can stay cool without leaving your hands exposed. The cost? $50 to $160 for quality gear. That is pocket change compared to months of rehab or the end of a riding season. Even budget or lightly used gloves offer far more safety than bearskin ever could. Gloves are not optional. They are survival. But while some riders ditch protection to feel free, others chase another myth of saving, thinking they can cut fuel bills by slipping into neutral at red lights. Number 27. Shifting to neutral at red lights saves fuel. Plenty of riders still believe flicking into neutral at every red light keeps money in the tank. Truth is, it burns more fuel and leaves you less in control. Modern fuel-injected bikes cut fuel completely the moment you roll off the throttle while in gear. That means coasting to a stop actually uses zero gas. Slip into neutral though, and the motor has to keep idling, sipping fuel the whole time. Neutral also robs you of engine braking, forces extra wear on your gearbox in stop-and-go traffic, and worst of all, delays your getaway when the light flips. That hesitation can be costly if a car lunges toward you. The real savings come from picking a thrifty machine in the first place. A 2025 Honda Grom can stretch a gallon past 90 miles, and clean used models run even cheaper. So skip the neutral shuffle, stay in gear, stay sharp, and keep your control where it belongs. And if these myths so far are making you question what you've been trusting on the road, don't ignore it. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a truth-busting ride. Stay ahead, ride smarter, and join us as we expose more myths that could cost you. And while we are on the subject of fuel myths, let's tackle another, claiming that shifting early always saves gas. Number 26. You burn less fuel by shifting gears early. Many riders swear that shifting early saves gas. It sounds smart until you see the engine lug, struggling to pull at low RPMs. That's not saving fuel, it's wasting it and putting strain on pistons, valves, and drivetrain components. Modern engines perform best in their optimal RPM zone, usually between 3,000 and 5,000 RPM, depending on the model. Drop below it and efficiency plummets. Push too high and you burn fuel unnecessarily. The trick isn't rushing through gears. It's keeping the engine happy where it runs clean and strong. Smooth shifts, stable throttle control, and anticipating traffic are what really cut consumption. Fuel-efficient machines like the 2025 Honda Grom prove it. With proper riding, you can stretch a gallon past 90 miles, and used models start far cheaper than new. So ditch the early shift myth. Respect your power band, ride smart, and your bike and wallet will thank you. And while smart riding can save fuel, some riders fall into a more dangerous trap, believing skill can be bought with pricey gear. Number 25, you can buy skill with expensive gear. Here's a big one that trips up even seasoned riders, thinking skill comes with the price tag. Spoiler, it doesn't. You can spend a fortune on gear, but it will never teach you clutch control, cornering, or hazard awareness. High-end jackets from brands like Revit or Klim, helmets from Shuai or Arai, gloves, boots, they protect, they ventilate, they look sharp. Premium jackets might run between $500 and $1,000, helmets over $600, and gloves up to $150. But none of it can make your hands smoother, your eyes sharper, or your instincts quicker. Used gear, maintained properly, often delivers nearly the same protection for a fraction of the cost. Safety isn't a label, it's a combination of fit, function, and most importantly, rider skill. And while we're talking about false confidence, another myth rides right alongside it. New tires are ready to scream from the moment you roll them out of the shop. Number 24, new tires, ride them hard from the shop. Here's a myth that still gets riders hurt, thinking new tires are ready to scream from the moment you roll them out of the shop. Dangerous, deadly even. New tires arrive coated in a slick mold release layer. It keeps them fresh but robs them of grip. Hit corners or twist the throttle hard right away, and you're gambling with traction, control, and your life. Mechanics and seasoned riders agree. The first 100 to 200 miles are a break-in period. Scrub off the slick, let the rubber settle, and only then push with confidence. New tires from brands like Michelin cost between $150 and $400 a set, depending on type and size. Quality matters. Cheap or used tires may save cash, but they don't save your skin. And while we're talking about tires, another myth quietly stalks wet roads. The idea that you need specialized rain tires for every drizzle. Number 23, rain tires are required for any wet ride. Here's a myth that stops too many riders before they even leave the garage, thinking you need rain tires for every wet road. Stop right there. It's not true. Most modern motorcycle tires are built to handle wet conditions. Deep tread patterns channel water, maintain grip, and keep you planted. Riding safely in rain isn't about special tires. It's about smart throttle control, smooth braking, wider following distances, and measured lean angles. Adapt your style to the conditions, and traction follows. Dedicated rain tires exist, but they are for track racers facing standing water at speed. Pirelli Diablo, rain tires, for instance, run roughly $200 to $330 per tire, overkill for most street riders. Street tires from Michelin, Bridgestone, and similar brands priced between $150 and $400 a set handle rain just fine when in good condition. So don't chase a mythical rain tire. Ride smart, maintain your rubber, and stay alert. And while most riders think traction problems are obvious, another myth quietly traps them, believing they'll always feel mechanical issues before they turn dangerous. Number 22, you'll feel problems before they become serious. Here's a myth that could get you hurt fast, believing your bike will always warn you before something goes wrong. Motorcycles are complex machines. Engine oil can degrade silently, brake pads can wear without obvious feel, chains can slacken, and tires can bulge or lose tread in hidden spots. One moment, everything seems fine. The next performance drops, brakes fade, or traction vanishes. Relying on intuition alone is gambling with your life. That's why inspections and maintenance are non-negotiable. Listen for unusual noises, watch for fluid leaks, track handling changes, and heed dashboard warnings. Preventive care keeps both your wallet and your body intact. Engine components can run between $280 and $500. Brake pads or chains range $30 to $100. Even careful riders can miss hidden dangers. Some problems slip by quietly, waiting until it's too late. And while regular checks catch most issues, there's one detail that often goes completely unnoticed. Number 21. Tire pressure never needs adjusting. Here's a myth that's quietly dangerous. Thinking motorcycle. Tire pressure doesn't matter. It does more than most riders realize. Tires aren't just rubber, they're your only points of contact with the road. Proper inflation ensures grip, braking, handling, and tire longevity. But tires naturally lose air, roughly 1.5 psi per month. And factors like temperature, rider weight, and riding style shift pressure constantly. Ignore it, and underinflated tires flex, overheat, and wear unevenly. Overinflated tires shrink the contact patch, making corners harsh and traction sketchy, especially in wet conditions. Check the manufacturer's recommended pressure. It's in your owner's manual or on the bike. New premium tires range from $150 to $400 a set, while used tires might cost $6 to $20, but carry safety risks. Neglect tire pressure, and you risk control, performance, and your life. Speaking of neglected maintenance, some riders think they can skip chain care entirely until the myth bites them hard. Number 20. You can skip chain maintenance if it looks fine. Some riders glance at a clean chain and think, looks good, must be good. That idea is flat out wrong. Your chain is the lifeline that moves power from the engine to the rear wheel, and the worst damage hides where you cannot see it. Dirt, grit, and moisture creep into the rollers and O-rings, slowly stretching links and stealing strength mile after mile. Neglect brings sloppy throttle response, jerky acceleration, wasted fuel, and at highway speed the nightmare of a chain snapping or derailing. That can lock the wheel, wreck the engine, or throw you off the bike. Replacing a worn chain and sprockets in the United States typically costs $150 to $300, but cleaning and lubing every 500 to 700 miles costs only a few bucks in a few minutes. Regular care keeps your ride smooth and safe. Even if it looks fine, never gamble with the lifeline of your motorcycle, while another hidden weak spot waits in the next month. Number 19. You must replace all brake parts at once. Plenty of riders still believe every brake job means swapping pads, rotors, calipers, and fluid altogether. Sounds cautious, but it is pure myth and a fast way to drain your wallet. A motorcycle's brake system is a team of separate parts that wear at different speeds. Pads usually fade first and may need fresh material every few thousand miles. Rotors and calipers, when cleaned and inspected, can last many seasons if they remain within service limits. Expert mechanics confirm it is perfectly safe to replace only the worn pieces while bleeding the fluid and checking lines for leaks. Overhauling everything just in case does nothing but inflate the bill. Typical pad sets in the United States run about $50 to $200, while calipers or rotors can climb past $300 each. Inspect, service, and replace only what shows real wear. Smart riders keep their brakes strong without buying unnecessary parts, while the next myth digs even deeper into the illusion that price equals reliability. Number 18. More expensive bikes are always more reliable. Many riders still believe a fat price tag guarantees a trouble-free motorcycle. Sounds logical, but it is a myth that empties wallets more than it prevents breakdowns. Premium machines often use cutting-edge electronics, complex engines, and boutique parts. That technology can ride beautifully, but when it fails, the repair bills are steep. Brands like BMW or Ducati may carry prestige, yet their labor rates and electronic fixes often cost far more than a simpler machine. Meanwhile, mid-priced Japanese bikes from Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, or Suzuki earn reputations for running thousands of miles with basic care. A well-maintained Honda Dual Sport or a used Suzuki SV650 can deliver years of dependable riding for a fraction of the cost of a luxury sport tourer. Real reliability depends on maintenance, not money, and that lesson carries over to what you spend just to get on the road. Riders often assume that because a motorcycle is smaller, it must also be cheaper to own. That's one of the most common misconceptions in motorcycling, and it's the next myth we're about to bust. Number 17. Motorcycles are always cheaper than cars. It sounds obvious. 2 wheels must cost less than 4. Up front, that is often true. A new entry-level bike like a Royal Enfield Meteor 350 can sell for around $4,000 to $5,000, while even a basic compact car often starts above $15,000. But the purchase price is only the first chapter of the story. Motorcycles demand more frequent service, tires wear faster, and chain or valve adjustments add steady bills. Over a few years, routine upkeep can easily climb past $3,000, far more than many small cars. Then factor in protective gear. A quality helmet, jacket, gloves, and boots can run close to $1,000 before you even twist the throttle. Insurance may look cheaper at first, but can spike sharply for younger riders or high-powered machines. Yes, bikes sip less fuel, but hidden costs close the gap quickly. Smart riders budget for the real price of ownership, while the next myth tempts you with a false sense of safety. Number 16, cruisers are safer than sport bikes. Many riders still cling to the idea that cruisers are automatically safer than sport bikes, but the truth is not that simple. Yes, the numbers show sport bikes have about 4 times the fatality rate of cruisers, but that does not mean the machines themselves are less safe. The real difference is in who rides them. Nearly 60% of sport bike owners are under 30, often inexperienced and drawn to speed. Cruisers, on the other hand, are mostly ridden by older, seasoned riders. So the myth falls apart. Safety comes from the rider, not the chrome or fairings. And while people love to argue this point, the next myth proves motorcycle culture has even stranger beliefs. Number 15, ABS takes away rider skill. One of the most persistent myths in motorcycling is that ABS, anti-lock braking systems, make riders lazy or less skilled. In reality, ABS does not replace skill, it supports it. The system automatically modulates brake pressure to prevent wheel lock during sudden stops, especially on wet or uneven roads. This means riders maintain control and stability instead of skidding out. Studies back this up. In one test with over 180 riders, more than 80% improved their braking with ABS, and beginners performed almost like seasoned pros. ABS can also shorten stopping distances by as much as 27%, and the Highway Loss Data Institute links it to a 22% drop in fatal crashes. So, far from dulling ability, ABS is a life-saving ally. But while technology helps, the next myth shows money alone can't buy real skill. Number 14, lane splitting is always illegal. Many riders still insist that lane splitting is flat out illegal everywhere, but that simply isn't true in 2025. Lane splitting, where motorcycles filter between slower or stopped cars, has gained legal recognition in several states under clear rules. Minnesota, for example, made headlines this year by legalizing it as of July 1st. Riders can now split lanes at speeds up to 25 miles per hour, provided they stay no more than 15 miles per hour faster than surrounding traffic. The intent is to ease congestion and cut down on rear-end collisions, a common threat in bumper-to-bumper traffic. California, Arizona, Montana, and Utah already allow lane splitting or filtering, and studies show it reduces crash risk when done correctly. Simply put, the myth that lane splitting is always illegal is outdated, and while the law is catching up with the facts, the next myth flips the script on how engines themselves handle wear. Number 13, engine braking damages your bike. Plenty of riders still believe that engine braking somehow harms the motorcycle, but this myth doesn't hold up. Engine braking, where you roll off the throttle and let the engine's resistance slow you down, is not only safe but also practical. By easing pressure on the brake pads, it extends their life and gives smoother, more controlled deceleration, especially on downhill grades or slick roads. Modern 4-stroke motorcycles are engineered to handle these forces without trouble. The gearbox and clutch regularly endure far greater loads during acceleration than engine braking ever produces. As long as riders avoid sloppy downshifts without rev matching, there's no unusual stress on the drivetrain. The only real exception is older 2-stroke designs, where lubrication depends on fuel oil mixture. So no, engine braking won't break your engine. It's a smart habit that saves wear, money, and adds control. But the myth we are about to hear shows even warming up your bike can be misunderstood. Number 12, you must warm up your engine for 10 minutes or more. One of the oldest myths in motorcycling is that you need to idle your engine for 10 minutes or longer before taking off. That advice belongs in the past. Modern bikes, as of 2025, don't need nearly that much time. Most experts agree that about 1 minute of idling is enough for oil to circulate and the engine to reach a stable temperature. Soil engineers even recommend a brief 60-second warm-up before you ride. Why did this myth stick around? Carbureted motorcycles ran poorly when cold, but today's fuel-injected engines adjust automatically. Long idling wastes fuel, burns time, and adds unnecessary wear. The smarter approach, start gently, let the engine warm under light riding, and avoid full throttle blasts right away. This might waste your time, but it's minor compared with the one just ahead. The coming misconception fools riders even more. convincing many that pouring premium fuel into the tank is a guaranteed recipe for better performance and longer engine life. Number 11. Premium gas always improves performance. One of the most common myths riders still fall for is that premium gas automatically boosts power or mileage. In reality, unless your motorcycle specifically requires high-octane fuel, it won't give you any performance edge, and it just wastes money. Premium fuel resists engine knock better thanks to its higher octane rating. High compression or turbocharged bikes benefit from this, letting them operate safely at peak power. But for standard or mid-range motorcycles, using premium provides no real gains. Modern fuel-injected bikes are calibrated to the octane rating recommended by the manufacturer. Running premium when it isn't needed won't improve horsepower, mileage, or combustion efficiency. And ethanol blends in some high-octane fuels can even slightly reduce energy output. So skip the unnecessary upgrade and stick to the fuel your bike calls for. Now let's move from what goes into the tank to what sits beneath it, where another misconception waits. The idea that a bigger engine automatically means a faster motorcycle. Number 10. Bigger engine equals faster bike. More CUBES means more speed. That's the playground logic riders still cling to, and it's flat out wrong. A bigger engine does not automatically make a bike faster. What really matters is the recipe: horsepower, torque, gearing, aerodynamics, and total weight. A sharp 600 cubic centimeter sport bike will run circles around a lumbering 1,800 cubic centimeter cruiser because it revs higher, makes more power per pound, and carries less bulk. Torque feels strong, sure, but horsepower is what actually moves you down the road. Size alone is bragging rights, not performance. So don't buy into the displacement delusion. And while engine size gets overrated, some riders underrate something just as critical: stopping. Because the next myth, it's about brakes and who's really in control. Number 9. Loud horns are better than awareness. Some riders swear by air horns like they're force fields. The louder the blast, the safer the ride. But that's a dangerous myth. A horn is only a reaction tool. It gets attention when danger's already in your face. What actually keeps you safe? Awareness. Spotting the car about to drift. Reading traffic before it traps you. Staying visible with lights and smart gear. That's what prevents crashes before they even start. Sure, upgrading that weak stock. Meep horn is smart, but don't confuse noise with protection. Relying on volume instead of vision only gives riders false confidence. And while sound gets overrated, visibility gets misunderstood too. Because the next myth claims bright gear makes you invisible proof, but the truth isn't that simple. Number 8. Bright gear guarantees drivers see you. Neon jackets, fluorescent helmets, glowing gloves. Some riders treat high-vis gear like a magic shield, as if wearing yellow means you're unmissable. That's a myth. Bright gear can help you stand out, especially in daylight, but it does not guarantee drivers will notice you. Fog, shadows, cluttered traffic, even a neon jacket can blend into the noise. And distracted drivers, they'll miss you no matter what you're wearing. Visibility is more than brightness. It's contrast, reflective strips, lane positioning, and smart signaling. Bright gear is a tool, not a force field. And while some riders put too much faith in being seen, others gamble with the opposite, heading out with no gear at all, which leads to the next myth: short trips don't need protection. Number 7. You don't need gear on short trips. It's just around the corner, I'll skip the helmet. That's the kind of thinking that puts riders in hospitals. Crashes don't care about distance. Most accidents happen close to home, on quick errands, when riders feel the most relaxed. Helmets, jackets, gloves, they work the same on a 5-minute ride as they do on a 5-hour tour. Leaving them behind isn't convenience, it's risk. Gear is cheaper than skin grafts and a whole lot lighter than regret. Even a slow-speed tumble on city pavement can tear you apart if you ride unprotected. No trip is too short to gear up, and if short rides make riders overconfident, some go further, branding the entire machine as a death trap, which brings us to entirely another myth. Number 6. Motorcycles are death machines. Nothing turns people off faster than hearing, "Bikes are death traps." That label is pure fear-mongering. Yes, riding carries more risk than sitting inside a steel cage with airbags. But calling motorcycles death machines ignores reality. Most crashes trace back to behavior: speeding, skipping helmets, or drivers failing to look twice. Helmets alone cut the chance of a fatal head injury by nearly 1/3. Gear, training, and alert riding all slash risk even further. Modern motorcycles are safer than ever. From beginner-friendly bikes under $5,000 to luxury cruisers topping 30 grand, riders today have more options and more built-in safety features than past generations ever dreamed of. Motorcycles are not about death. They are about freedom, responsibility, and respect for the ride. But myths don't stop there. Some even say helmets themselves make crashes worse. Number 5, helmets break your neck in a crash. Here's a myth that's as dangerous as it is ridiculous. Helmets cause neck injuries. Absolutely false. Helmets are the single most important safety tool a rider can wear. Studies, including research from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, show helmeted riders suffer half as many neck fractures as those riding bareheaded. The weight and shape, designed to absorb impact, not break your spine. Good helmets don't have to cost a fortune. Entry-level full-face options start around $75, mid-range favorites like the Bell Lithium MIPS hover near $210, and premium models top $500 for advanced safety tech. Used helmets? Only if you know their history. Damaged helmets lose protective power fast. So gear up and crush this myth. But while helmets protect the head, some riders still misunderstand braking, which brings us to the next myth. Number 4, front and rear brakes must be used equally. Here's a braking myth that still trips up riders. Front and rear brakes must be used equally. Wrong. About 70 to 80% of stopping power comes from the front brake. Why? Braking shifts weight forward, pressing the front tire harder on the road while the rear loses grip. Over-relying on the rear brake weakens control and slows your stop. Professional riders, the Motorcycle Safety Foundation, and safety studies all agree. Aggressive but smooth front braking is the fastest, safest way to stop. The rear brake, a stabilizer, a helper, not the main actor. And while we're talking brakes, misuse can cost money too. Front pads wear faster and run around $35 to $85. Rear pads less. Next, let's tackle a myth that gives riders a false sense of security with noise. Loud pipes. Number 3, loud pipes save lives. Louder the pipes, safer the ride. That's the myth every wannabe tough rider believes, and it's dead wrong. Studies, including the Hurt Report and research from the Polytechnic University of Bucharest, show loud exhausts barely register inside modern cars. Windows up, radios blasting, air conditioning humming. Drivers often can't locate the sound in time to react. Loud pipes don't prevent crashes. In some cases, they can even distract or confuse drivers. Real safety comes from defensive riding, high visibility gear, and anticipating traffic, not turning your bike into a foghorn. Exhausts may feel cool, but they're for EI, not survival. But even more misleading and far more dangerous is a coming up myth, the idea that intentionally dropping your bike will keep you safe, a notion that couldn't be more wrong. Number 2, laying the bike down saves you in a crash. Here's a myth that's been whispered through garages for decades. Lay your bike down and you'll walk away. Dangerous, deadly, flat out wrong. Some riders think intentionally sliding the bike reduces injury or damage, but experts and crash analysts say the opposite. Road rash, broken bones, head and neck injuries, those risks skyrocket when you give up control. Modern braking, traction control, and evasive maneuvers work far better than surrendering your bike to the pavement. A controlled stop or smart swerve beats throwing your ride down every time. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration confirms it. This myth kills. And yes, there's a financial sting too. New bikes in 2025 range from $4,000 to $15,000, with used models often 20 to 40% cheaper. Laying a bike down could cost thousands in repairs, not to mention life-changing injuries. If you buy into myths like this, you're not just risking your wallet, you're risking your life. But while cost and safety myths can hurt, the biggest misconception in motorcycling isn't about machines at all. It's about the people who ride them. For decades, riders have been told that bikes are only for the young, the fearless, or the reckless. Nothing could be further from the truth. Age, experience, or life stage doesn't dictate who can enjoy the thrill, freedom, and lifestyle of motorcycling. Number 1, motorcycles are only for the young. Finally, this is the myth that needs to die first. Motorcycles are only for the young. Completely false. Riding isn't age-restricted. It's for anyone with the skill, passion, and sense of adventure to get on two wheels. Statistics prove it. Riders aged 40 to 64 make up a huge portion of the motorcycling community. Often more experienced, cautious, and safety-conscious than younger riders. The biggest fatality group, still in that 40 to 64 bracket, showing age doesn't prevent riding, it just increases responsibility. The market reflects this. New motorcycles like the 2025 Indian Scout 60, starting around $10,000, are accessible, while used bikes are increasingly affordable as prices drop in 2025. Riders of all ages can find a bike that fits their budget and style. Motorcycling isn't a young person's game. It's freedom, adventure, and community, ageless and timeless. Stop believing otherwise. That's 30 motorcycle myths busted. Ride smart, gear up, and ignore outdated advice. And if this countdown opened your eyes to the real truths behind motorcycles, and you want more jaw-dropping stories, tips, and myth-busting rides, click the video on the screen, like, and subscribe to stay fully tuned in with us. Your next adventure starts here.